course I have MySpace. Everybody, like everybody below the age of like 25 now these days has a MySpace.
Yeah, I have MySpace.
Yeah, of course.
No, I'm terrible at the computer.
What do you do with it?
Nothing really. Nothing. I just leave it there now. I used to just go on a little bit, keep up with some friends that I, from other towns.
Since my computer's broken, I never really go on it.
Basically, talk to my friends or estranged friends who I haven't talked to in a long time.
Keep in touch with friends and people who I don't live near. They moved away.
And what's on your page?
My pictures, you know what I mean?
There's not much on it, just a little bit about yourself.
Pictures and stupid stuff.
I don't have a MySpace, no, but I do have a Zanga site. It's fun to keep in touch with my friends that way. Like, if you talk about inside jokes and things on it.
Well, I don't really use it for anything yet.
I write short fiction, and I use the blog space or whatever to basically post my short stories.
When you meet new people, you get their MySpace.
I usually talk to my friends or people that I meet down the shore or something. I get their MySpace.
Keep in contact with people, to meet new people. I like it a lot.
Oh, I just use it to talk to friends.
Just talk to people.
I just use it to talking to friends.
Just to talk to people, talk to my cousins and my friends. When I can't talk to them on the phone.
I have all music and all my friends all about me and everything.
That's really it, friends and music.
A real good social networking device.
About how many friends do you have on MySpace?
320 something around, I don't know.
I have around 500.
I think the last count I had about 450.
Yeah, I have something around there too.
I really am addicted to MySpace. I don't think I could be on my computer without having my MySpace open.
Oh, it's the same thing with me. I'm always there. Social web networks like MySpace and Facebook have created a whole new social scene for us.
Along with all of the fun comes some dangers like cyberbullying and harassment on the internet.
The internet, a new outlet for rumors, gossip, and ruining reputations. That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Jack.
And I'm Catherine. And this is Realfaith TV. According to survey data from the Perseus Company, a maker of web surveying software,
of the world's approximately 38 million blogs or self-published web pages, 52.8% belong to those aged 19 or younger.
You know, Jack, I actually have many friends on MySpace and Facebook that I've never really met in real life. Because I couldn't possibly have 450 actual personal friends. Is that weird?
You are messed up.
You know, it sounds weird when you talk about it, but it's normal for me.
Yeah, okay. Catherine, the internet isn't all fun and games for everyone. There are many young people who have been bullied, harassed, and had their reputations ruined by gossip spread on the internet.
Our spotlight guest, Samantha Hahn, was bullied in school and then on the internet for 6 years.
In addition to being the 2005 National American Miss Teen, she is an accomplished actress in local productions, a feature film, and commercials.
In 2004, she started an anti-bullying program and was named the New Jersey State Advocate for the New Jersey Cares About Bullying program.
When we meet her later in the show, she will share her story with us and also give us advice on how to respond when you're being harassed on the internet.
We'll also meet our studio guests later.
But first, let's go back to the teens on the street and find out if they've had any problems with strangers or rumors on the internet.
I don't like meeting just people I don't know, but if I know them through a common friend, then I would talk to them. But I guess meeting strangers isn't the best thing to do. It's probably not really the safest thing.
On the news, they keep talking about MySpace, how people are meeting new people and they pretend to be different people.
My mom's always you see it on the news and stuff, she doesn't want you on it. She's a whole bunch of pedophile, creepy guys are on it and they talk to you.
Do pedophiles actually do talk to you?
No. Because you accept people to be your friend. If you don't accept them, then they don't talk to you.
That happened to me the other day a little bit. I had to make a police report because of that.
People be fighting over girls on the internet.
I've heard a whole lot of stories. People who get flamed, which is kind of they post something and people respond in really mean and nasty ways.
Yeah, my cousin.
What happened?
I don't know, people just didn't like her and they was telling people not to be her friend and all of that.
I actually don't even talk to those people anymore because they talk so much about me on the computer. And one of my friends got charges pressed against them for writing something on the computer. So I don't even go on it that much anymore because I always get in trouble on it.
At first, you just want to yell at them and stuff, and you go find out why'd you say that and blah blah blah. But you just have to ignore it sometimes. Just be whatever.
But one time I did see this site, and it was awful. The entire site was based on bashing this one girl, and I felt awful for her because it was just insulting her, calling her names, and it's just How could you hate someone so much that you would dedicate all of that time just to hurt their feelings?
It happens all the time. It's so different online too, because when you type something out, someone else might take it a different way than what you actually said.
People are saying stuff, and then sometimes when they say it, it comes out in a different way because you can't like tell how they're saying it.
You can't really do anything about it, you know. You can't get revenge because sometimes you won't know who it is.
People put themselves on that thing or any other website like it in fully knowing that their information is going to be, browsable by anybody with access to the internet. And, it's not MySpace's or anyone else's responsibility, but the, user to, use discretion when doing that sort of thing.
You really do have to be careful about what you put on the internet, because people can copy it, alter it, and send it to literally thousands of people in no time.
Let's meet our studio guests and find out how involved they are with social networking via the internet.
We have Phil, Caitlin, Anthony, Christina, Sarah, and Jenna.
So how many of you guys have a personalized web page, and how often do you go on the internet for socializing?
Well, I have a MySpace, and I'll check up on it every now and then. I only have like 44 friends. It's mostly I will leave comments for my friends about plans for the weekend, because we all have like really weird schedules, and we rarely have time to like call each other when we can both talk. So it's just my friends. Like, I don't talk to anyone else.
Yeah, like Christina, I used to have a MySpace, but now I just go on Instant Messenger and I make plans with my friends that way and just talk to them about the day and what's going on.
Yeah, I don't use MySpace that much. Like, I have one, but for me it's pretty stupid because to me it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, I use my MySpace to talk to friends that I don't really talk to, like that I don't go to school with, or just people that I don't talk to every day.
I know with me, it's I'm like a hardcore MySpacer. I'm on there all the time, and sometimes I'll keep refreshing the page to check if I have new comments. And I'm also a big AIM guy, because during the school year when I'm doing papers and stuff, I'll be like on AIM, and then 3 or 4 hours will slip away that I'm supposed to be doing the paper, but I'm really like talking to people with the paper minimized or whatever. So I'm big into socializing on the internet.
Yeah, me too. I'm always doing that, trying to get like a paper done, and you're just MySpace. Check my comments, refresh.
Then your mom comes in and you open up what you were supposed to be doing.
Right. Exactly.
I use one of my old papers.
Exactly. When she was in middle school, Samantha Hahn was the victim of a rumor which her so-called best friend started.
She experienced verbal abuse and physical violence. She switched schools hoping to escape the bullies, but they invaded her house through her computer.
Next, Samantha tells us about the effects the bullying had on her life.
The cyberbullying definitely pushed me over the edge, and I wound up in a state of depression at 12 and a half because of it. Because it was anonymous, it scared me half to death. I developed a sleeping disorder because I was having recurring nightmares. I developed an eating disorder because I was always so nervous receiving threats at my computer. I would vomit, or I would vomit in school. A lot of times the cyberbullying would happen over the weekends when there was a party or a sleepover, and instead of watching a movie or listening to music like normal kids tend to do, these kids would sign on the internet and create screen names for hours. So I would block a screen name, and a couple minutes would pass, a new one was created, and it would keep on going until I literally just had to shut off my computer. The longest I went without signing on the computer was about 2.5 months. I was deathly afraid to sign back on. I would go into school, and sometimes I would have a test in front of me, and I would just literally write my name, and that was it. No answers, and because I would zone out as to, okay, who last night was on the computer with me? Who said that they were gonna kill me after this class? Is it a kid in front of me, behind me, next to me? Is it even a kid in this classroom? Could it be someone next door? I wound up paranoid. I received lots of threats, as extreme as these kids were going to kill me with what gun, what knife, in detail, what they were going to do with my body when they were finished with me, to less extreme. I wouldn't go to the bathroom tomorrow in school alone if I were you. We're gonna follow you, we're gonna beat you up. So it was very, very hard to deal with. That was years ago when IMing was fairly new. Now with things like sidekicks and cell phones via text messaging, kids can threaten you and bully you anytime, anywhere. So it was a big problem because of the internet, it was not ending.
I have known quite a few instances where the internet has been the vehicle for really, really terrible rumors.
Well, have any of you guys experienced gossip or rumors or even bullying on the internet?
I think we've all not experienced it firsthand. You know, I'm sure there have been some people that, but you know, you hear about it all the time. I mean, it's constant. I mean, if you're in a school like mine or like Jack, like a school like you see everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's terrible because I've seen some really nasty things. Like, I don't have a MySpace like personally, but I've seen on other people's that there's some really nasty things that have been written on there.
Yeah, you see on the news like 2-3 times a week how like people start fight clubs on MySpace, or they start certain websites just bashing someone for no reason, just because like they wore the wrong color or something silly like that.
Well, I know this girl and I kind of got in a little feud, you know, and she went on MySpace and put a lot of crapola about me on there. So I wasn't too happy about that, but there's really nothing I could do, you know, because I couldn't like take it off or whatever. So eventually, like, we made up and she took it off, but you know, for a while there were people who still believed all that stuff, so that kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah, you really can lose your privacy. Like, I've seen many people just, you know, think what they're sending others is private, and then it just gets shown around, like, in a very casual way.
Yeah, my friend, she went out with a guy for a little bit, but she learned that she wasn't ready for a relationship, and she broke up with him, and he kept, like, harassing her over the internet, like saying nasty things, using choice words I'm not going to say as of this moment. And she seriously, like, she would come to me and ask for help, and she just like, and she wouldn't let anyone talk to him because she was afraid he'd do something even farther to a more higher extreme.
Yeah, I have a similar story. My ex-boyfriend started harassing me after we broke up. And he would come online, IM me, and just start verbally harassing me. And it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. So I blocked him, and that stopped it.
Seems like you hear something about this every day, like who's fighting with who, and did you see what this person wrote about me? It's not even like instant messenger where it's a private conversation. Like, you can read that without even having to know the people involved.
Some people might say, well, just stay off the internet.
Samantha tried that for a while, but then she realized that she would be giving the bullies power if she did that.
Next, she tells us what she did to make the bullying stop.
I don't think avoiding the internet was really a solution. It was my way of running and hiding from the situation, I believe. For a while, I thought it was a great idea because it was out of sight, out of mind, and I wasn't dealing with it. But then I realized that as a victim, I don't need to continue to hide. It isn't fair to me. I still had friends out of state and from theater and from performing, and family and cousins out of state that the computer was my way of contacting them. So at one point I just got sick and tired of running away and hiding, and I didn't want them to have the upper hand and win. I started reporting to AOL, and they didn't respond right away, which I don't think any service will. I kept hitting the report button, and then finally someone got in touch with me. I had detectives working on my case, and they were able to figure out where the threats were coming from, and AOL shut down the computer that they were being delivered from. So that's how I was able to figure it out. What kids don't know now, and what I didn't know back then, is through forensics, detectives are able to tell where the threat is coming from within a very short amount of time, and they can drive directly to that household and question the household and figure out who delivered the threat. I have restraining orders on the girls, on a group of people that they were able to figure out who they were. Once the warnings and the restraining orders were put in place, everything pretty much stopped. It had to, otherwise they would be in even more trouble.
I don't know if the bullies and harassers on the internet realize that many, many times they're breaking the law.
And that the victims can press charges.
Have any of you had friends that press charges against a person harassing them on the internet?
Well, I had a a friend who this other person signed on to her screen name and then pretended to be her, and she walked around the next day and people were like, why'd you say something like that? And she was kind of like, what did I say? You know, I wasn't home last night. So she found out that someone had been on her screen name, so she like got the police involved and everything because they said some pretty nasty stuff like on her screen name. So eventually they found who it was and everything, but that's definitely something that's, you know, really hurtful.
I almost had charges pressed against me a couple months ago because I set up a MySpace for one of my teachers, and it was a big, huge problem there. But it wasn't malicious, but just the fact that it's somebody's reputation and it's pretending to be somebody else. But we got that all straightened out, and it didn't turn into a big, huge thing.
Do you know anyone else who's gotten in trouble for something they did on the internet to hurt another person?
Well, I know this guy in my grade, he made a list of the top 100 hottest girls in our school, and the principal got hold of it because, of course, it was on the internet. Someone printed it out and brought it in, and he got, I think he got suspended or something.
I know a couple of years ago, like in my group of friends, there was kind of some tension because this one girl was kind of getting on everybody's nerves a little bit, and a couple of my friends went off and made a Zanga, and they posted some mean things about her, and somehow she found it, and she kind of assumed that it was my one friend, and so I don't know if she called my friend's mother or her mother called, but somehow my other friend's mother found out about it, and my friend got in a lot of trouble, and she took the brunt of it. She didn't even tell about the other people who were in it, and she got grounded for a very long time.
After experiencing so much torture and abuse, Samantha was able to turn a negative into a positive.
She speaks to school audiences throughout the state to educate young people about cyberbullying.
Next, she tells us what motivates her to do this and what steps you can take if you are being harassed on the internet.
I've made it my goal to turn a negative situation into a positive and to really reach out to as many people as possible. I think that a lot of kids aren't able to overcome situations such as mine and either wind up in states of depression like me or wind up committing suicide and not being around to tell their story. Or you have the few that just kind of take it in, live with it for the rest of their lives and accept it. And I don't want to accept this. I want to do something great with it and learn from my situation to help others. I feel like this is my closure. You know, I never got the apology. I never, got the all poor Samantha or I'm sorry for what you went through, or the group of girls or the boy that, physically abused me never said, hey, I'm really sorry for doing that to you. I don't know why I did that. Or I was just following the crowd, or, I've learned my lesson. Kids don't have to deal with it anymore. They don't have to just lay back and accept it as, a rite of passage or just something that they have to deal with in their life. The best advice I can give you is, comes right from the Division of Criminal Justice and Bias Crime, and they say to treat your computer like it has a plague when you receive a threat. Do not instigate. Do not type back. Block screen names if you have to. A, you have no idea who you're talking to, and B, it'll just get out of control and turn into a monster that you can't handle. So just ignore it. If it becomes a problem where someone is actually threatening you, call 911.
Samantha really had a lot of courage to fight back and not let the bullies win.
She really, really did. I'd probably just give in and never, ever go online again. So after hearing a story like Samantha's, it makes you wonder if the good on the internet outweighs the bad.
That's what we asked the teens in the street.
Let's check it out.
I think that you could get victimized a lot on the internet, and at the same time you can learn a lot more, and you can meet new people who don't hurt you, or the opposite, you can meet people who hurt you at the same time. So I don't know, it's 50-50 for me. It weighs out.
Like, it's good and it's bad because like people could talk to them and like keep in touch with other people, but then again it's like bad because like if people like start rumors about somebody else, then they get hurt and all of that.
There's so many dangers out there, and people are so stupid. Like, they make friends with strangers who could be anybody, and they give this information away, and they're putting themselves in serious danger, and it really needs to stop.
There is definitely potential danger, especially for like younger kids who shouldn't even be on it. But yeah, I guess it's dangerous.
You just have to be smart about you don't tell strangers your like name, and you don't get to know strangers, period. There's no point. Like, if you're not gonna meet them, like, why would you tell them your name and stuff like that? You don't have to know them.
I have like my whole MySpace and everything on private. No one can see me. If I don't think you look like my age, then I won't accept you or anything. I'm scared.
I think the good definitely outweighs the bad, but you really have to be careful to not give out personal information.
And if you are receiving what you believe is a serious threat, call 911 immediately.
Samantha went through a difficult time with depression, suffering with sleeping and eating disorders.
In addition to very supportive parents and sessions with a Christian spiritual counselor, Samantha's faith played a big part in helping her get through the difficult times.
Next, she tells us how her faith helped.
There were many times that I felt like I wasn't worth anything. I mean, you hear of stories now of kids as young as 13 committing suicide, and I was there, and just knowing that there was a greater force on my side helping me, leading me through this, made it better, made me feel like I knew I could get through it, I could overcome it. Prayer did help, and it's kind of ironic because I didn't really find my faith until I entered high school, until I went to Bishop R. At first, I would go home, and of course, as a young girl, I would sit in bed and I would cry and ask, like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And then eventually, I don't know what happened, I just snapped. A reality check came, and I realized that I wasn't the one with the problem. I didn't need the help. The people that needed the guidance and needed the help more than me were the people that were bullying me. So I prayed every night for them, and I continue to pray for people who feel the need to abuse others.
It's great that Samantha is able to pray for those who hurt and really tormented her for so long.
Yeah, most of the time, those people are the ones who need the most prayer because something has to cause the fact that they have an urge to bully someone.
So how do you guys think that faith and prayer can help the victims of online harassment?
Well, I can say that my faith definitely helped me with the harassment from my ex-boyfriend. I would pray and ask God to give me patience to deal with it. And I also prayed for him that he could just get over it already and move on, you know, because we each have to live our own lives, and I know that I shouldn't have to deal with that. So my faith really helped me.
I think, go ahead.
Well, like, faith kind of gives you like an identity, and when you have the identity, you know, what other people say about you, like, it won't bother you as much because you know it's not true. So if you can just put a stop to it, it won't affect you as much. And like, faith plays a big role in that.
And sometimes the victims, they gotta remember that their faith can help them, because if they know their relationship with whatever God they believe in, like, they can see that it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks about you if they want to say something mean over the internet or anything. It's just that their God has made them the way they are, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I definitely think, like, with faith, with me, it's kind of like, you know, I got God behind me. I got God, you know. What are you doing? Those are words. But I don't even need words, you know. Like, I got God. That's all that matters, you know.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, she seemed like she felt very alone. Because, you know, she said she was depressed and had eating and sleeping problems. But if you have strong enough faith that you can fall back on God and feel like, you know, you're not completely by yourself in fighting these things, I think that could help.
I agree with you. I really admire Samantha for the way that she turned her situation from completely one end of the spectrum to the other end, and she kind of put it back in the bullies' faces, but not in a violent way. She showed them how strong she is and how she can turn it around and make it into a positive thing.
Yeah, it was really great how she could use her faith to turn her situation totally around and just make it in her favor. It shows like how strong people can be in their faith when they have God behind them.
Some tips for stifling the rumors and gossip on the internet are:
Ignore the gossip you hear. Don't give it any attention, and don't spread it.
if the internet is being used to harass you or spread lies about you, tell a parent, a school counselor, a teacher, or another trusted adult.
If someone is stalking you or you receive a serious threat, call 911 immediately.
And remember that anything you put on the internet has entered into the public domain, whether you want it to or not.
So enjoy yourself on the internet, but take the proper precautions to protect yourself.
And remember to type kind words as if you were speaking them to someone's face.
What kinds of experiences have you had with web pages?
We want to know. Contact us through our website.
The address is www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
Our final thought comes from the book of Sirach.
If you blow upon a spark, it quickens into a flame.
If you spit on it, it dies out, yet both you do with your mouth.
Cursed be gossips and the double-tongued,
for they destroy the peace of many.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV.
God bless.